to do a live video for the solstice today. Happy solstice, wherever you are in the planet. So if you're in the northern hemisphere, this is the deepest, darkest night of the soul, which is basically the shortest day of the year. So it's kind of like a barometer for how your feminine is trucking. So if you're somebody who really honors your feminine traits and qualities and is honoring of the fact that we all need downtime, we need to go within, we need to feel our darker states and emotions and our vulnerability and use that as a process to rebirth ourselves, to go through, you know, a psychological, emotional death and rebirth, then you will find the solstice graceful. Whereas if you're in the northern hemisphere today and you tend to be a doer rather than a beer, so you're somebody that has the masculine side of you dominant, regardless of whether you're female or male, this is likely to be a very challenging day because it's the most feminine time of the whole annual cycle. So, you know, this is a day when in the ancient world, sorry, I'm just being vain and noticing my hair sticking up. This is a day in the ancient world when, you know, like the carol, Silent Night, Holy Night, this was considered the most sacred night of nights because we would be at our most inward. And so, you know, people, women in particular, would sing these carols as a vigil for the men that were going through their grail rite, their annual shamanic death and rebirth. So that got kind of hijacked with Christ Mass. As much as I love Yeshua and his teachings, it was, you know, very much distorted and then used for group mind programming. So, oh, we've got some fishermen chatting on the front lawn. If you're wondering where I am, I'm in Ahmed in Bali. Just came here for a couple of nights after we finished the Rainbow Bridge retreat to recuperate before I fly home tonight, well, home to Melbourne to see my soul sisters for Christmas. So, you know, like many, I was brought up within organized religion. So whilst I don't adhere to the dogma, I certainly still jump at any chance to celebrate. So, you know, blessings on whatever you're celebrating this festive season, whether it's Christmas or Hanukkah. I'm sorry to the Islamic brothers and sisters and well, Galungan here in Bali. Am I saying that right? Galungan. Galungan. Sorry, just completely bastardizing these sacred traditions. Franz is saying the ancestors are coming to hunt me down. So, getting back to the solstice. So if you are in the northern hemisphere, just go gently, light candles, light a fire, focus on the light because that will get you through the dark, okay? This is a time when we really need to come together so that the dark doesn't completely eclipse us. This is when our men in particular, or masculine dominant women, are most vulnerable to depression, illness, injury, suicide. So if you know somebody in the northern hemisphere today that has been at risk, so to speak, someone who's been isolating themselves, someone who has been experiencing darker states in emotion and has judged themselves for it, has created a story around that, that is, you know, plummeting their self-esteem, it would be great to just check in with them today. Maybe invite them over for a meal. But yeah, this is a time for a prayer vigil, a lighting of candles, particularly as the sun sets, so that you are focusing on the light. You know, the lesson is to be the lightness. So, yeah, you know, we send our prayers to all of you that are journeying through the darkest night in the northern hemisphere today. For those of us that are here in the southern hemisphere, I mean, I'm, you know, pretty much on the equator, so solstice doesn't have as much effect the closer you are to the equator. It has more effect, obviously, the further we are away from the equator, the closer to the polarities, because the solstice is about journeying the polarities. So those of us in the southern hemisphere, this is the day where we celebrate the sacred masculine. It's the longest day, the brightest day, the day when we are more outward, more shiny, happy, joyful, got more energy to share, because the days are the longest that they are all year. So this is a time when in the ancient world, our ancestors all over the planet would get together and honor the sun god and the gifts of the masculine. So, you know, this is a lovely day if you have children to create crafts, you know, or to do baking in the shape of the sun. And maybe you can Google some ancient stories about, you know, the sun god to connect your family with the cycles, so that, you know, you don't kind of feel jaded about how commercialized the festive season has become, because this is about getting back to the absolute roots of it, what it was originally intended for, and it was for us to live in a state of sacred union by aligning with the natural cycles. So what to do for summer solstice? You know, it's a time of, you know, long lunches with good friends, dining al fresco in the light of the sun. Certainly, you know, greeting the sunrise and the sunset. I was lucky enough to be floating out here in the ocean this morning and doing some sun eating, which is a yogic practice, which you should only do first 10 minutes of sunrise, last 10 minutes of sunset, when it's safe to look with your retina at the sun, and you just breathe that light energy into your energetic body, into your auric field. But because I'd missed that window, I just floated in the ocean with my eyes closed and saw a beautiful crimson color in my field and just breathed that light as manna to feed my light body. So a great day to honor the sun with an energetic practice like that. Just be absolutely vigilant that you don't open your eyes and look directly at the sun if you're not within first 10 minutes of dawn or last 10 minutes of sunset. So it is also almost the full moon. So this full moon, you know, it's kind of like we're entering a double vortex today, because we have the seasonal vortex of the solstice, which is, you know, a huge 3-day window for accelerating our consciousness if we understand the lesson of the solstice. And I go into those in more detail in the Goddess Wisdom book published by Hay House, that you can find at my website, themoonwoman.com, or on any online bookstore as either Kindle or paperback. Thank you. Someone's giving me the thumbs up for the book. Because it's also coinciding with the full moon, this is a very intense energy that we're journeying today, well, yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Because full moon is a vortex emotionally. It really brings up all of our emotions to a head. Now, it will have more of an effect on women because the feminine is governed by the lunar cycle. You know, that's why we have a monthly fertility cycle. But it affects both men and women if you consider that we are 65 to 70% water in our bodies, and the gravitational pull of the moon affects the ocean's tides. You know, it absolutely has a huge effect, particularly on our psyche and on our, you know, our moods, on our feelings, on our emotions. And this one more than most because it's coming up in the sign of Cancer. So Cancer is governed by the moon. So the brothers and sisters out there that have Cancer rising, so Cancer ascendant in their natal chart, Cancer moon, or sun in Cancer, or a lot of planets in the 4th house, which is governed by Cancer. And if you don't know about your chart, you can go to astro.com and just punch in your birth date, time, and location and get a free, you know, natal astrological chart to look and see if you've got a lot of Cancer in your chart. Those with a lot of Cancer will really feel this full moon, but also anybody that's sensitive. It's, you know, Cancer is the sign of the home body. So this is, you know, a sort of a time when we may not feel like going further afield from home. We might want to entertain at home, you know, because Cancer loves to nourish people, to feed people. So what else? Cancer is, you know, the nurturer, and somebody that likes to gather people around them. So community, communion. So, you know, to fulfill your soul, regardless of what your, you know, ascendant, moon, sun, whatever is, if you want to feel emotionally balanced over the next day or so, look at how you can experience more soul communion by gathering with people that really see you, really get you, and are uplifting company for your soul, for your inner self, people that really validate your truth rather than undermine or minimize it. So, you know, this would be a lovely time to get together and have a shared meal. Now, Cancer, I see Cancer as the spiritual mother and Taurus as the earth mother. So in this polarity, you know, we have the sun entering into Capricorn this week, which is the sign of the father, opposite full moon in Cancer, the sign of the mother. So we're really journeying with those archetypes of mother, father that reside in the heart. So this is a good time to sort of review your self-care practices. You know, with Cancer full moon, if you find yourself sighing heavily, it's a kind of good flag that your dark mother is driving the bus, regardless of whether you're male or female. And that's just a signal that you're burnt out, that you've overgiven to the point of nervous exhaustion and you've got nothing left in the tank. So if you find yourself sighing or feeling like a bit of a martyr victim, this, regardless of how much preparation there is to do for whatever sacred festival yourself, if you don't stop and prioritize your needs, you're not going to enjoy whatever it is that you're doing. So, you know, look at where you can pare back and not overdo to the point of going into resentment and just, you know, psychically imploding in a foul mood and everybody feeling it and sort of stepping back and taking a wide berth. So, yeah, you know, I think having grown up in the Christian tradition and watching my mum, you know, it's so many times it's you know, left to one person to do all the cooking and the shopping and the wrapping of presents and whatever, and it needs to be a communal effort, otherwise it's not going to look pretty. So just keep that in mind if you're going to stay with family, you know, that's likely to be a trigger point. Really offer to help as much as possible to share the load. Cancer full moon is also potentially likely to evoke feelings of vulnerability from the inner child. So, you know, caretake your inner child. If you're feeling a bit easily triggered, you know, so a bit reactive emotion, fragile, okay, you know, just feeling more, what's the word, more like the old stories around the wounded inner child are kind of up at the moment, then just take a moment to close your eyes and see your inner child, hold them into your heart with your inner mother or your inner father, and just rock them and let them know it's okay. And, you know, definitely do a practice where you're connecting to the earth mother and the sky father, you know, such as the tree meditation, and bring both of those energies into the heart to center yourself so that that inner child is feeling held by, you know, the cosmic mother and father. So it's not feeling as easily triggered. And, you know, again, if you're going to be around your family of origin for this festive season, a very wise thing to do, because nobody triggers us like family. So, yeah, just a few kind of self-care tips there. What else do I want to say? This may have us feeling a bit loony, a bit ungrounded, because Cancer is ruled by the moon. One of the good traits is, you know, people with a lot of Cancer have a big loony laugh, yeah, but we have to be sure that we also remain grounded at full moon. Otherwise, we can be a bit manic and it can be dangerous to drive a vehicle or operate machinery. So if you can, make sure you're eating regular protein and you're walking around barefoot. Have some magnesium, which is just, you know, a natural mineral supplement, just to ground yourself in as much as possible, or send those roots energetically from the base of your spine into the earth, because it is hard to sleep around full moon. So yeah, we can be a bit up here and not fully present and embodied in our bodies, which can lead to accidents. So we can crave hugs during this full moon in Cancer. We can crave comfort foods, you know, mum's home cooking. And yeah, just, you know, kids, you'll notice, are extra clingy as well. Okay, so don't shame them for that. You know, put down what you're doing, hold them, and just, yeah, maybe slip a bit of rescue remedy, bark flower essences into their water. Even pets can get, you know, extra emotional and clingy during a full moon in Cancer. Cancer moon will also highlight our need to belong, which is a primal need for all of us. So, you know, just know that we're likely to be sensitive to being excluded and be as inclusive as possible this week. We've got Venus, the planet of love, the planet of the sacred feminine, forming is a beautiful harmonious aspect with Neptune, the planet of dreams and the netherworld, and also Uranus, which is, the kid in me wants to say Uranus as a joke, but anyway, moving right along. Uranus is sextile this full moon, and Uranus is the planet of expecting the unexpected, yeah, of sudden change. So they're both really harmonious aspects. So there may be unexpected social invitations, unexpected romance opportunities. So, you know, if you're tempted to just stay at home and pull the bed covers over your head, which Cancer full moon could, you know, see us do, just remember that and maybe step out of your comfort zone and go to that social situation that you've been invited to, because you may end up meeting a soul brother or sister or the love of your life. You know, it's certainly a time of unexpected relationships. So yeah, look, I think that's pretty much it. Have a beautiful festive season. Thank you for following me all year. I've got some really exciting events coming up, 7 retreats for 2019 and a Sacred Union tour with my beautiful beloved Franz, which will include a ceremony that we did here last week in Ubud, Bali, healing and all the hurts between the feminine and the masculine. And we were guided to do the ceremony all around the world. So stay tuned if you're interested to find out where we'll be doing that ceremony. It'll be starting in Ubud the 3rd weekend in January. Then the 4th weekend in January we come to Singapore, and then we'll be doing ceremonies in Australia, Perth, Adelaide, Melbourne, Sydney in March. So, and then we go to Europe and then America. So if you would like to stay tuned and get updates on when we'll be, you know, in the town closest to you, I recommend subscribing to my email list. It's free, and the details are on my website, themoonwoman.com, if you just click on the home page. And also in my latest edition of the Astro Oracle, I am excited to announce we have launched the Red Tent Retreat in Ibiza, which is happening April 6 to 13. This is a women's only event. It is the ultimate red tent experience. I'm teaming up with Rebecca Wilson, who is going to be leading us in yoga for a woman's cycle, nutrition for a woman's cycle, and I'll be taking the women deep through a shamanic death and rebirth, which sounds horrific, but is completely liberating. We're going to have incredible food catered by cardamom. We'll be going to a hammam. I'll be bringing my Ratu throne from Bali, so we can do yoni smoking, yoni steaming. There'll be you'll learn how to do personal breast massage, personal womb massage, but it's secret women's business for a whole week in Ibiza. So check out my website. Details are on the homepage, themoonwoman.com. So blessings on your solstice, wherever you are, and have a beautiful festive season, however you celebrate it. And I'll tune in soon. All right, blessings from Bali. I look forward to seeing those of you in Melbourne over the next 2 weeks. Ciao.